Hey everyone, it's Sue here, and I have completed another mixed media page. And here I'm just showing you the different products that I have used, and as I go through the video, I will explain them in more detail. Some of the stuff is, some new products that I have. Some are from swaps. And then the paper that I'm going to show you in a minute, right now, that's actually leftover Inca Gold that I also used on my last mixed media page. So this particular box has a bunch of borders and like corner strips and stuff like that. It's from a swap from Crazy Island Family. That's Crazy with a K on Facebook, and they have a swap every month, and I just enjoy it so much. So a few of the items here you'll see are from swaps from Crazy Island Family. So at this point I'm looking at color, trying to match color to the paper, but in reality, in the very end, it doesn't matter. So you can see now that border on the bottom is very colorful and really doesn't match the paper because it's so bright, as well as this piece right here that I chose for the top. By the way, all four of those borders are from a Crazy Island Family swap. Then I showed you I'm using the Claudine Helmuth matte medium, and that brush is a $1 brush from Home Depot, and I like it. I like the size of it. So if I'm going to put down like a lot of gesso or matte medium or whatever, I like using those bigger brushes. And then I just put it underneath, and I put a coat on top to hold it down, good and tight so that it doesn't go anywhere. And now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere the rest of those four pieces that I chose. And here's the bottom piece. And I'm putting the hearts on top of it because I like the texture of it. I mean, a lot of mixed media has to do with texture and just the layering and getting, different interest on the page. So here's the second set of hearts. So, Crazy Island Family, thank you for all these wonderful, wonderful borders and goodies. So I'm just showing you now up close what they look like, and they will not look like that in the end. So, which is the fun part, right? So I'm going to go ahead and dry that off. Now I'm going to use a stencil from TCW, and I'm also using the white dilution spray. So I went ahead, sprayed once. Now over here, because I had just used the matte medium on this paper, the paper was buckling a little bit, so the stencil was not laying flat. So what I ended up doing was I got a piece of washi tape just to hold the one side down. It was kind of like I needed 3 hands, and I couldn't hold it down flat and spray at the same time, so I ended up using a piece of washi, and then I had no problem in spraying. And you'll see that I used that piece of washi a little bit later. Now the paint that's on top of that, that's yumminess, and I don't want to waste it, so I'm just going to turn the stencil upside down and go ahead and press down and get the paint off of it. But there's still a little bit of paint on it, and I'm going to throw it in my big water bucket so that the paint can come off. Now this particular stamp is one that I made. So Crazy Island Family, they had this month, the swap was to make a stamp, so for others. So it's out of foam, a foam sheet that had adhesive on the back. And this is the stamp that I made and sent out to others. There's 5 of us in a group. The only thing that we had to send was the actual little pieces of the stamp, so just the heart. You didn't have to send the block or anything that you put those foam pieces on. So it was very inexpensive to mail out. And then I went ahead and used that one piece of washi that I used to hold down the stencil. And I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now you can see this is just filled with all different kinds of color, right? I mean, it's getting a lot of layers on it at this point. Now this is a stencil from Dina Wakley that says, at the end of the day, who you are is completely up to you. If you want something you have never had, you have to do something you have never done. Why not now listen to your inner voice? You really can do whatever you want. So that's what the stencil says, and I decided to go ahead and use the Dina Wakley acrylic paint. And I just peeked there real quick to see how it was coming out, and I really, really, really liked the way it came out. And I ended up throwing that stencil right into my water bucket, and I dried it off. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you again. Came out quite nice. I think that the yellow popped well, because it's a lot brighter than the background. Even though there's so much going on underneath of it, it popped. It worked out really well. So now it's a few hours later, and you can see that it's a little bit darker, and I apologize for that. But so I pulled out some flowers from my stash, and that green one up on top I think is from a Crazy Island family swap as well. I'm using my neat little tool that I made. That's actually a doll body, a wooden doll body that I got at Michael's, to put the new Tim Holtz, the round applicator, ink applicator on the bottom of it, which I learned that from Gina Ahrens, and it worked beautifully. So thank you, Gina, for that. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them down with the matte medium again. And you'll notice that this whole piece to me is really inspired by Gina. If you haven't checked her out yet, please go check her out on YouTube. She is also very involved in Crazy Island Family and the Facebook page. So I learn a lot from her, and she's been doing a lot of arcads, and she does a lot of different things. I mean, she's an artist. She does beautiful work. So I went ahead and adhered those on, and I'm just, trimming off the edge there. And then I have a vellum piece. So, I punched this flower out with one of the punches that I have, and I adhered it to the bottom, and I'm just trimming it off. Now, please note that when you go, and if you're going to dry that matte medium, that the vellum will buckle up, so you can't dry it real good, so just be aware. So this particular doily was white, and I sprayed it with some acrylic paint that I put in a little 2-ounce spray bottle. So I put in paint, I put in water, shake it up, and when I get the color that I want, that's it. And then I have a nice assortment of different colored sprays. And so I just had to bring that down just a little bit. I'm going to have to cut some of the bottom off because I didn't want it to cover up the words down there. So here I am drying it up, and I'm using some more of the Distress ink. Oh, and I noticed that I had a little piece of the heart hanging over the edge there. So I'm just going around the edges with the Distress ink. And, it's funny because I have the rectangle applicators, and, they teach you to start off of the paper and then go on so that you don't get the marks. Well, you can see I'm still doing that, and I think that this round applicator was made purposely so you didn't have to do that. But you know what? I was so used to doing it that I just could not. I just did it. It just happened automatically. So here I'm just taking a brown in the Distress ink, and I'm going around the edges, just to distress them just a little bit more. One thing that I found interesting, the way that this page ended up, and you'll see it, the edges certainly are darker shaded than in the middle. And I kind of like that. The white in the middle still pops. I like the way it looks. And all of those bright colors are subdued now. So now it looks uniform. And I'm just going to use some Liquitex white paint. And I'm spraying it with water to make it nice and watery because I'm going to do some splattering, white splattering onto the page. So I just have my brush and I go around and I do a whole bunch of splattering. That's my other thing that I really like to do to my pages. It just, right now, at the point in time that I'm at right now, it just doesn't seem done until I have like splatter all over the place. And here I'm just showing you the finished product. This is it. I'm just showing you real slowly here, and I hope that you like it. And then I just have a couple pictures, I think 3 pictures to show you. So this was in the beginning before I put the black hearts on, and here's the hearts. And then here it is with the stencil with that saying on it. And then here is the finished product. So I hope you enjoyed. Please comment. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.